for us, it's more of, like you said, an overindulgence, if you will. It's not an addiction like so many people struggle with, right? And so I think that the whole meaning behind Sober October is that chance to support and show your support for people who are struggling with addiction, and not just alcohol, but any addiction that they might be going through.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Everything's Okay. This week, we are going to be talking about something very interesting and something very different that we are just starting. And you've probably seen a little bit of it on social media, and that is Sober October.
Yes.
Now, we are both doing it for some of the same reasons and some different reasons, but, we're trying to just get mentally trained, because sometimes you can be overindulgent when it comes to your vices, whether that be sweets, whether that be alcohol, whether that be just being lazy and not exercising. So it's a very interesting thing that we're going through right now. And I think it'll be good for us at the end, though. If anything, it's definitely going to help create a rhythm in both of our lives to be able to continue moving forward and to be better about taking care of ourselves.
For sure, for sure. And yeah, it's definitely been an interesting start, without doubt. But yeah, I think, for us, it's more of, like you said, an overindulgence, if you will. It's not an addiction like so many people struggle with, right? And so I think that the whole meaning behind Sober October is that chance to support and show your support for people who are struggling with addiction, and not just alcohol, but any addiction that they might be going through. So we come at it a little bit different, like you said, because we're not necessarily addicted to. We just enjoy what we shouldn't probably be enjoying a little bit too much. But yeah, it's a tricky situation sometimes, because you don't even realize, I think, that you're doing it with sometimes you get into the habit of it. It becomes a habit, right? And then you have to start questioning, is this just an indulgence, or is it a problem, right? And I think that's the way it starts for a lot of people, in my opinion. You don't even realize it, and you think it's just you're doing it, and then you think, oh, that's just a bad habit, I can stop whenever I want to, kind of a thing. And then you realize you can't stop whenever you want to. And so the whole purpose of this is to we'll get into individual reasons why we're doing it, but we want to, in conjunction with, Crazy Ant Media, just put out our support for anybody who may be going through an addiction. We really want you to know that you are not alone. You don't have to be alone. You don't have to take it on alone. There are resources. There are places that you can reach out to. That's friends, family, outside sources. Just don't try to take it on yourself, because it's not something that you need to take on yourself. So I just wanted to get that all out there before we dive into our conversation of our fun stuff about what we've been doing. But yeah, so if anybody's out there and you need some help, feel free to reach out to us as well. We can link you to resources and to some places that you can get help, because that's what we're here for. So please, if you're struggling with any type of an addiction, comment on this video and reach out to us, and we're going to do our very best to help you guys.
Yeah, most definitely, most definitely. And I mean, what would you say has been your biggest struggle, the most important thing that you wanted to tackle before it got out of control? And this was a perfect opportunity to cut back on that.
Yeah, you know what? The Sober October thing for me is it's routine. I easily get out of my routine if something happens, if something throws it off, right? Meaning if I have because for anybody who doesn't know or doesn't listen regularly, I suffer from migraines. I have a disc problem, and it affects, especially when weather changes and everything. I suffer from migraines. So if say I wake up one morning and I'm suffering with a really bad migraine, and I just like, I can't do it today. I can't get out of bed. I'm not going to go exercise. I'm not going to work out. That next day I don't go. And then that next day, I don't go. I easily get thrown off of my routine if something inadvertently causes it to miss a day. So this has been really good for me. This has been, that's where you step back and you look and go, just because something happened one day doesn't mean the next day you can't get right back on it. And so far, that's what this month has been really good for me with. I'd say that's one of my biggest struggles just normally when we're not participating in something like this, is getting knocked off of the routine and then trying to get back into it. I get lazy with that.
Yeah, I think for me, it's I try to start things way too heavily, I guess, like I'm just like, jump right in. I'm going to do 7 days and then I get burnt out really quick.
Yeah.
So I feel like this time around I've been taking it in stride, being able to do what I can, but not, not just overindulging in the exercise to get to a point where I am burnt out. Because I mean, you always want to push yourselves, and you listen to all these motivational speakers, you listen to people you look up to and how they approach their lives. Well, it was a lot of trial and error before they found their routine. They didn't start from the get-go, going to the gym 7 days a week. They didn't start, walking or running all of these miles every single day, 7 days a week. They got into it. They formed their own habits. So that has definitely been something that I've been trying to change the narrative on this time around, because we we're both like that. We both have a roller coaster of relationship with exercise and eating right, and just trying to stay on the right path when it comes to taking care of ourselves, because there's so many things in this life that are just, they're great for you but also bad for you.
Mm.
So it's one of those things where you have to be able to recognize and to be able to be like, okay, I need to do like a factory reset. I need to go back to trying to eat healthier, trying to do a little bit more chicken and rice, trying to go for that walk every night with the dog or something along those lines. But yeah, I think for me, the biggest thing has been to not jump in head first, to
Yeah.
just be constant with it. Keep going, keep doing what you can, but do not push yourself too far to where you get burnt out and don't want to do something. That's been my biggest thing.
Right, because we work out together a lot of times, and yeah, that's something definitely noticeable. You always want to, like you said, you always want to push yourself. You always want to try to hit that next level, and sometimes I feel like you want to be doing what the guy next to you is doing, and you don't have to. That's the thing. You don't have to, right? And another thing that I think that I'm guilty of, and I'm learning now. I'm really teaching myself, and this has been another good thing through this month that I've really been emphasizing, is as long as you're happy, that's key, right? Because it's just about mental health as it is physical health. And so if you are healthy, it doesn't matter if you don't look like the person next to you, right? It's are you healthy? So, because I can personally tell you, I've always been that guy that's kind of like, oh, I want to be rock hard, and I want to be ripped, and I want to be this and this and this and this. And I got to tell you that I'm not that right now. And yet I've had numerous doctor's visits over the last several years, and I'm the healthiest that I've ever been in my life. All of my levels are good, my heart is good. Everything that was giving me problems via either hereditary or genetic or just bad habits myself, it's all gone. It's all at the best level and the best health that I've ever been. And I'm not in the best, how do I want to say this? Visually, I don't look the best that I've ever looked. I don't have that squared off chin. I don't have ripped muscles. I'm not cut like I used to be. And yet, I'm healthier than I was when I did look like that. So I guess the key thing is that if you are living your life and you are living healthy and you are doing things right and you are happy, it doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter. There is no, it goes back to what we talk about on this show a lot about societal expectations of what you should and shouldn't be. The real key is are you happy with the way you look and are you healthy? Because if you can answer yes to both of those questions, that's all that matters. You don't need to worry about anything else. And I think that's so key because like you said when you jump full steam in, right? And I think it's because you want to live up to that expectation. You want to be the guy next to you. You want to look this certain way for whoever, for yourself or whoever else. And I think that starts to get in your head and mentally starts fucking with you. And then once that happens, it physically starts messing with you. And so because they're connected. So you could be working out every day, but here you're fucked up. So this won't transform. And the people don't realize that it's connected. So, I think it's been really good for me to just sit back and go, you know what? I'm healthy. I am losing weight. I am doing things that I want to do. I'm eating healthy. I'm doing these things right. And am I seeing the results as quickly as I want to? No. Do I look exactly the way I want to? No. But I'm okay. I'm happy. And I'm fine with that. And I'm just going to take it at the pace that it's coming at and meant to be. And so yeah, that's been really good this month for me to just step back and go, you know what? It's all good.
Yeah, I mean, to continue moving forward and to try to see how everything is correlated because there is a vast difference every time, it doesn't matter how many times you exercise a week, even if you do put in that 1 or 2 days, you do see a immense difference to your mental health.
You do.
You are much happier. You do start looking at things in a different light, and to be able to identify certain things and not let other things get underneath your skin is so important. And I feel like it helps you a lot to burn off that steam, literally burning off the steam, burning off the calories. It's so critical and so good for your mental health. But yeah, I mean, and switching away from food and going into indulgences, you know, I mean, we both have sweet tooths. We love sweets. So, I mean, it's very difficult, after having a delicious meal with it maybe salty, you want to balance it out with that sweet, right? You want to have that little bit of that moment of just like satisfaction at the end of the day. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with having that, but having it every night is probably not necessarily the most healthiest thing for you. Yeah, I know after Sober October, I'm going to go back to the one sweet a weekend or one sweet a day on Saturday and Sunday. Balancing out those calories and balancing out that sugar intake because people don't even realize how much sugar affects you, your body, and your mental health. Like it can bring you up with that energy, with that buzz, but then that sugar does also cause a crash. So that is something that also affects, depression, anxiety, because then you start getting jittery and trying to figure out, what am I doing wrong and all
Yeah.
of these different things. So sweets have definitely been difficult because, I mean, it gets to the point where you're not even thinking about it. You're going in for a snack and you come out with a sweet, you come out with a cosmic brownie or like, a fudge round or something. Like it's very difficult, especially when you're around people who do indulge often. So that's definitely been the biggest thing, and no fault to them whatsoever. And they've been very respectful for me and my journey. But it is just very difficult because I know where the sweet stash is, and every time I look at it, I'm telling myself, no,
Yeah.
don't do it.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. But yeah, I mean, that's been another difficult thing because, like I said, it's just after a salty meal, after some fries, you just want that chocolate. You want that cheesecake.
Well,
But it's important to practice self-discipline because self-discipline not only comes in contact with, your mental health and your physical health, but it also helps you like in your career field, like staying motivated and staying on task and getting more things done than others. So being self motivated and being able to be self disciplined is very important to keep you mentally and physically healthy.
without doubt. And you know what, too, is it's also educating yourself
Mm,
because there's a lot of times when you think you're doing a really good job and you don't even realize that you are consuming something bad. It's
right.
right because you're not like for example myself. I have coffee every morning, and I like to put some creamer in there. Well, creamer's not good. Even if it's healthy creamer, it's not good. It is a sweet, it is a substitute, it is a flavor. And even if it's a healthy one, it's still got some bad stuff in there. It's not just like drinking straight black coffee. So you get into the habit and you don't even realize, oh, I'm doing great. I'm not having any sweets. But that creamer I put in there this morning was a sweet. And you don't even realize that. It's like you say you're not doing any sweets, but when you go back and think about it, did I put creamer in there? I guess I did have a sweet today. So,
Well, it's different too when you have 4 or 5 different cups of coffee.
well, for
Like for
sure.
me, yeah, because I do the creamer with 1 packet of raw sugar, but I only do the 1 cup of coffee. But I know
Right.
you, man,
No,
you
yeah, no.
love your coffee. You need 3 or 4 at least.
Yeah, yeah. So and you know what's funny is it's the enjoyment of the coffee, right? Because it's not the caffeine. I used to think I need the caffeine. I don't. I've been doing decaffeinated coffee, and it's not the caffeine. It's the enjoyment of the cup of coffee in the morning. It's like that. That makes me feel good to have the cup of coffee, and so yeah, it's a very interesting thing, and it's like. So again, though, it's an indulgence. Do I need? First of all, I buy the giant mugs, so my 1 cup of coffee is like 3, and then I have 3 of those, so it's like 9 cups of coffee for anybody else. But you don't even think about that. You're just enjoying. I mean, you guys see me all the time. I post all the time about kicked back, relax with my cup of coffee because it makes me feel good, and I guess that's important too. If you do something that makes you feel good, if it makes you happy, if it puts you in a good space, that's good. But like all things, overdoing on anything can even take a good thing and make it bad. So you just have to be like Logan was saying, it's about discipline and control. And saying that I understand that this is a good thing, but if I go too far with it, am I taking it past that good thing into a bad thing? So it's just kind of like for example, me cutting to the decaffeinated because I understand that 9 cups of caffeine is probably not a good idea, but I like my coffee. So how can I start to do at least steps of discipline, right? So the first step is getting rid of the caffeine, even though decaffeinated, boys and girls, does still have a little bit of caffeine in it, just to let you guys know. But anyway, that's the first step. The second step is going back to, I used to just drink black. I never put anything in it, no cream or nothing, just black, right? So it's little steps. Sometimes it takes little steps. Get rid of the caffeine, get rid of the creamer, maybe get rid of that third extra cup, maybe, but like Logan said, You can't just dive straight into it. I'm not giving up my coffee. So I can't just go from 3 giant cups equals 9 to none. You can't do it. Like that's it's so, but it's okay to gradually go, okay, maybe I should do this. So yeah, the coffee has definitely been, and I, like you, Logan, have where it's just, and I'm talking about the sweets now, always fucking there, always. It's bowls of candy, cupboards of brownies and cookies and chips, and it's like, the control that one has to have to not touch it is just insane. Luckily, I feel, because I'm not as horrible with the sweets as you are. I enjoy something, a cookie or something, like, I'll eat a apple delight or whatever. I like that, but I cannot also. For me, it's definitely the coffee. For me, I love my wine. So we're doing sober October, and I have a glass of wine every night. And I'm not through October, and I'm fine with that. But it's not the body aspect of it; it's the mental aspect of it. I miss having my glass of wine every night. It makes it's something that I just kick back. I usually watch a gritty drama like Billions or something like that, and I'm drinking my wine, and it puts me in a little happy space. It's like I'm watching a drama, I'm drinking my wine, I'm just feeling all the groove and everything. And so, and I'll be honest about it. Watching Billions the past couple of weeks without my wine, it's just not the same. It's just not the same. It's those little things, right? It's just like, it's amazing to me where even if you are able to just stop, I'm not going to do it. What it does here, as much as it does here, it's amazing to me. It really is.
Yeah, it is very interesting too because have my own indulgences, and it's like, you know, whatever I do, whatever it is in regards to being underneath the influence, like I just really love the feeling of unwinding, right?
Yes.
I feel like, I have a tendency of never stopping, right? Like my brain is always going, it's always active, literally until the last second when my head hits the pillow.
Yeah.
So to be able to take that hour or hour and a half to be able to unwind a little bit it's very good, and I love the feeling of just being like, okay, I don't have to think about anything now, I can be more present. I have a tough time of being more present when I'm not under the influence or when I'm sober because I'm always thinking about the next thing. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be strictly business related. I'm always thinking about the next thing, what I need to get done as far as like household chores or trying to help people with their other aspirations. Like we've been fooling around with the idea of Emily possibly having her own coffee shop one day. So literally yesterday, I went and found a website that you can order everything from, like getting office or a space first and then getting the LLC. And then like I went on this little tear and I'm like, what am I doing right now? It's like 8:30 at night and I just like need to wind down and take a little break for a second. But it's hard for me to just sit and do nothing. I don't know if that comes from because when I was younger, I was diagnosed with attention deficit disorder, but I'm not hyperactive, so that's another thing too, because they group them into one, but they're
Mm-hmm.
not really the same, right? But it's one of those things where like I get so hyper focused on something or just need to be doing something all the time that I feel like is productive. And that's definitely been a challenge for me this month, just trying to fill my time, basically. There's a lot of scrolling through the phone, a lot of scrolling through TikTok to try to buy that time. The exercise has been very helpful because I've been exercising at night. And so to be able to wind down my body that way, after work and after everything else, to be able to after the day is almost completely done before dinner time, being able to go out and do a 4 or 5 miles, and be able to have my body get a little bit more exhausted before
Mm-hmm.
eating, getting that last meal, and then going in and relaxing, digesting, and laying down. So that's been the interesting thing, right? Not being able to partake when you want to partake, especially when you have things that you could be like, okay, if I take 2 shots of this, I'll be in a good space, or if I take a gummy, I'll be in a good space, or like one of these things. So I've actually, like, a tool that I've been kind of using is to distract myself and to wind myself down is I collect change. I have a big old change jar and I collect coins. So sometimes I'll just dump out my whole change jar and then just start literally counting it. I'll start with the quarters, and if I'm after the quarters, if I'm good mentally and not thinking about anything else, I'll just put everything back. But if I'm still not good thinking about everything else, I'll go to the dimes and then the nickels and just set them all up to where, like, I'm focused on that and not anything else. So it's all about trying to figure out what to do with your time, right?
Yeah.
Especially when you feel like, I mean, luckily we don't feel like this. But especially to those out there who feel like they need this thing to help them wind down in the evening or to help them get through the day,
Right.
because there are the people who are, you know, working under the influence and being the person who they feel like is the best version of themselves, because when they're not under the influence, then that mental health part comes in and then
Yeah.
they feel like they're worthless or they're not doing something right. So it's important to be able to be productive, good productive with your time, right? So that's been a very interesting thing to try to think about during these past couple weeks.
So yeah, and a couple of things with that. I too struggle with the mind always racing, and even when I'm relaxed and in a good place and rested, when I attempt to sleep, I still just my mind races, and it's always been a thing my whole life. I feel like no matter what, it's going to be a thing my whole life. It's one of those things. But one of the things that I found a while back, and that's been working really well for me, and even more so now through October when I'm not doing other things. And I know you've mentioned this before, and I don't know if you've kind of dove into it as much or whatever, but I've been doing meditation and yoga, and the meditation just focused where you just clear your mind and you just you it's so I don't know how to explain it, but it's basically for me doing exactly what you were just talking about, shutting out the outside world, just bringing the focus completely inward and just like shutting I don't need to scroll through the phone. I don't need to watch the news. I don't need to check this website. I'm going to focus right here and just in. Yeah, and when you slow down the breathing and you close off and you do kind of just bring it inward, it's an amazing, it really does kind of, for me, it sets the tone. If I can do that and I refresh that way, then I'm more capable of dealing with all of that other stuff. It's been really good. The yoga has been a bit of a struggle. I'm not limber. I'm not an expert per se. And that's where you were, like we were talking about earlier, the struggle of, well, damn it, I can't do this the way I want to do it. I'm pissed. I gotta get into this pose. I've gotta get the. No, no, you don't. If you can't get into the pose, it's okay. Try another pose and you'll come back to this one, kind of a thing. So I'm struggling with that a little bit. It's like, come on, you don't have to do that. Just do what you can do and get to those places. But and then beyond the meditation and the yoga, the exercise, like you said, taking those walks or those little jogs and just out there in nature, whether you're doing it like I've done a lot of hiking lately up the mountains. I've gone up to the top of mountains, been climbing mountains, or even if it's just going on the trail, That's my time where I just forget everything else and just focus on me, pay attention to nature. I find myself stopping and taking pictures of butterflies, or watching what the squirrels are doing, or seeing how this is interacting with that, kind of a thing. Paying attention to things that I never really take the time to pay attention to. And that is a great cleansing of just, stepping back and getting away from all of the things that can cause the stress and the different things. And so what I really love about this challenge that we're doing is it's really it's going a long way in opening up and going, oh yeah, when I do these things, I really didn't even pay attention to how much it helps me, how much I'm doing this. And now that I'm focused on this competition and I'm doing these things, I'm realizing how much these things are beneficial to me that I wasn't paying attention to before. I would do them, but I was just doing them. And now it's like you're paying attention to what you're doing, kind of a thing. And so yeah, it's been really cool to be able to kind of do that. And that's the good thing, right? About these, like, anytime you set yourself a challenge, I'm going to get out of my comfort zone, or I'm going to take on something that I haven't done before. You find new things. You learn about yourself. You find out what you're capable of or not capable of, and where you need to work or not work on. And so challenging yourself is good. It's a good thing to challenge yourself.
Well, and I also feel like too, you brought up, you know, being alone and your alone time, because that is very necessary. You do need alone time, not
You
too
do.
much alone time, because that's when things start racing. But it is necessary to be by yourself and alone with your thoughts, because there's so many different things that are going on in your life that affect you that sometimes you do put on the back burner. So that's always very important to be able to focus on that. But then also, like, I come up with a lot of creative things when I'm
Yes.
out on a walk or exercising or
Same.
doing that. And I've talked about multiple times before on this podcast and the other one. I love other podcasts. I love listening to people talk and learning about them and the way they do business, and or just the way they approach their life. All these different things, and that gives me an opportunity to shut everything else out and to be able to, hone everything in,
Hmm.
get the inspiration for other people who I look up to, or other people who I may not have even really heard about. I mean, those are always the most special conversations that I love listening to, and then spark ideas from people who I never really had on my radar. That's always a lot of fun. But yeah, I think this month is definitely going to set a precedent, at least for just getting back into a rhythm of exercising. Does it need to be every day? No, but you need to have some sort of physical activity that you do for at least an hour almost every day. I feel like that is very necessary for you to continue to stay healthy and to continue moving forward. And then that also helps you in your recovery time, which is sleep. Every time I exercise, I sleep so much better. So that is definitely one of the biggest things as well, trying to perfect that. Which I know that has been like a big struggle for you for so many years. You really never have been able to get good sleep.
No.
So I mean, I don't even know how your body recovers, but it fucking does.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's always been very interesting to me.
Yeah, at this point, the exercise, it doesn't work for me as far as the sleeping
Yeah.
goes. It most definitely gives me more energy, because that's what exercise does. It does relax you and enable you to sleep better, and it gives you that boost of extra energy during the day. I get the boost of energy. I do not sleep better. But we're working on that. We're trying to figure that out. But yeah, I average maybe 4 hours of sleep if I'm lucky a night, and that's a good night. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. But I think the other thing that when you were talking about, though, is the important thing to do when you're doing these, and not just through a challenge for a month, but on a daily basis, on a regular routine, is it's also very important to know your limitations and listen to your body. I have bad knees from playing sports for years and years and years. I have especially one that both are not great, but one is really bad, and I can no longer run. I can't run at a really good pace. I can't jog at a really good pace. I can do a minimal jog, but I can't maintain it for a long period of time. And so that was frustrating for me when I was starting to do these hikes and starting to do these things, because I wanted to run. I wanted to be running. I didn't want to be walking. I didn't want to be doing a slow jog. But you have to listen to your body. My knee is no longer capable of allowing me to do that. It doesn't mean that I can't go exercise. It doesn't mean that I can't do what I want to do. It just means that I have to conform to the way that I can do it physically. So I do a small jog or a brisk walk as opposed to the run, because that's what I'm limited to. When I do decide to take these hikes up the mountains, I don't say that I can't do it, that I'm not going to do it. I just make sure that I'm properly equipped. I put braces on my knees, and if I need to use a walking stick, I use the walking stick. I'm not going to not do the hike, but I need to make sure that I'm listening to my body and doing it properly so that I don't hurt myself while I'm doing it. So I think that's important too, and it goes way back to what you were first saying about overdoing or jumping full in. If your body is telling you you can't do this, listen, because you're going to inevitably end up hurting yourself to where you really won't be able to do it. And you don't want to do that. That's counterproductive. That's in every way, shape, and form counterproductive. So if you have limitations, understand. It kind of goes back to what I was talking about with the expectations and the self-care. It's okay. It's okay that you can't run like the guy can run, or that you can't hike as high as the other. That's okay. Just find the enjoyment, do what you love to do within your limitations, within your boundaries, because there's nothing wrong with that. There is, nobody is going to fault you for this is what you're capable of doing. They're going to applaud you for doing it. So I just wanted to say that, because I feel like a lot of people try to, oh, no pain, no gain, and they work through the pain and they do all this. And then they inevitably end up putting themselves in a position to where they've actually hurt themselves. And it's bad all the way around. And so you don't want to do that. So just listen to your body. And trust me, I know that's a struggle. I hate that. As somebody who's played sports my whole life and was very athletic and very competitive, I hate when I can't do something better than someone else or as good as someone else. It took me a lot of time to come inward and go, it's okay you're not as fast as that guy. It's okay that you can't do that anymore. I'm learning that in so many different aspects of my life. It's okay to not be as smart as such and such. It's okay to not be this or not do. It's okay. It's all right. I think, this month has been a continuation of that learning for me. So yeah, I think so far this month it's been really interesting. I will say this though. I am definitely looking forward to my glass of wine come November 1st.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Yeah, I made the mistake going back to what you were just referring to, listening to your body. I made the mistake of, trying to push it too hard the first week, and then it got to a point where like I did get really bad shin splints, and then for 2 days straight, my back of my calf just felt like a
Yeah.
closed fist, a super tight, super awful to walk on. I don't know if you know who David Goggins is. He is an ex-Navy SEAL. He is a motivational speaker and a trainer now. And this man is like, he's super hardcore to where he's like, don't be a bitch, get up, like that type of mentality.
Yeah.
And so, like, I was listening to a podcast with him for the first week, and that's probably what led into me trying to run and get back into that type of mentality, and then like only being able to do 3 days a week, or 3 days the first week. So it was one of those things where you have to know your body, listen to your body, and push it to the point where you're not going to injure yourself. It's
Right.
okay to push yourself, but do not injure yourself, because that will get you down even longer. And then while you're down, you think, do I even come back? Do I even want to continue doing this? So that's one of those things. But yeah, that's not my type of motivation. The insults and the hardcore, and I get that some people's mentality and they can do that. But yeah, this dude is super hardcore, and I was just like, I can't do it. But yeah, overall, it has been really productive so far. By the time this episode comes out, we'll be in week 3, so that's very
Yep.
exciting. Only one more week to go. But by the time we're recording this, we're still in week 2, and damn it, I want it to be week 3 already. But it's fine. It's fine. But yeah, we just wanted to give you guys an update because we know we've been posting about it a lot on social media, and we wanted to share with you our journey on Sober October and what we've been doing. And it's something that I'm definitely considering doing every year, not just a sense of standing up for people who are trying to get sober or people who are already sober. But first, it's a factory reset, basically,
Yeah.
right? To be able to get back into, this is what is good for my body. These are my indulgences. I love them, but they're not necessarily great. Those type of things. But yeah, I've been enjoying it so far, and it's honestly gotten me to a place where I feel like I'm more motivated, if that makes sense. Like I said, it's definitely being able to get back on track with certain things. It's definitely made me more motivated in different aspects of my life.
Well, and so it's done all that, obviously, and like you said, you talk about the creativity. The creativity level is has increased. Everything, all of the positives. But the one thing that I'm looking forward to taking away from this when we complete it, and this is not just through this month. This has been a long journey for me, things that I've been working on for quite a while and that I'm very proud of. And I'm just going to say it because even just a couple of years ago, this has been a long journey, 6-7 year journey, okay? But me, even just a couple of years ago, would not be the same as me now when I say this. If at the end of this month, we weigh in, because we weighed in at the beginning of this, guys, because one of the goals is weight loss to get ready for the wedding and everything, for Logan and Emily's wedding. If we weigh in at the end of it and you beat me, I'm okay. I'm okay. Even just a couple of years ago, I'd have been fucking pissed. I'm very, very competitive and I can't stand to lose, and I don't like it. And I've worked very hard on learning to accept the fact that you can't always be the best. You can't always win. You can't always do better than someone else. I really had to work at that. And I am finally at a place, I feel like, where I'm comfortable enough in life to say, it's okay. That's okay. So if you beat me, my friend, there's still a big if, but if you beat me, I will congratulate you. I will not be sour. I will be okay with it. And I'm proud of that. I've been realizing that throughout this whole month. I started from day one when we weighed in. I'm like, I wonder if he beats me. I wonder if he's going to lose more weight than me. And I wasn't even like, I've got to do this. I've got to win, And from that first day, I knew that the work I've been putting in to change works. Because normally that first day I'd have been like, no matter what, I have to lose this much because I got to beat him. And it wasn't even a thought. So I'm so proud of myself that it wasn't even a thought. It's like, regardless of the outcome, I will have lost weight. I will have done things I was trying to do, and everything will be great regardless of the outcome. So, it's a win-win all the way around. So yeah, don't put too much pressure on yourself, I guess is what I'm trying to wrap it up with. Don't put too much
Right.
pressure on yourself. There's no such thing as perfection. Nobody is perfect. Nobody always wins. Nobody is always the best. And that's okay. Everything is okay if you're not okay and you're not the best. That's the thing to take away from this, right? That's the thing. It's okay.
Yes, that is right. That is right. We are we are picture images of people who have been on a roller coaster ride of just always trying to better ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think that is this month has definitely been a realization of that. And it's been very good though. It's been very good. I'm very happy with where we are, where we're going, and where we've come from. Because it's all been a lesson in life and a lesson on our own personal journeys. So that's always okay, and that's always fantastic. And I mean, we just always want to remind you, no matter what you're going through, no matter if you're getting sober now, if you're struggling because the holidays are coming up, and I know that's a really difficult time of the year for people who used to be addicts or are addicts. Remember that people are with you. You have support systems. You have people you can lean on. Sometimes it's family, it's sometimes not family. And
Right.
it's very important to remember that you have these different avenues and you don't have to be alone. So that's always very important. And another thing that's very important is to remember that everything is okay.